It all began with a singular, chilling announcement. In profound silence, Iran declared it had unleashed advanced ballistic missiles, targeting high-value Israeli locations. This wasn't a mere border skirmish, nor a proxy group's action, nor a mere warning shot. Their claim asserted a direct strike on facilities intricately linked to Israel's paramount leadership. Within moments, the digital world erupted. Financial markets reacted with immediate volatility. Air defense systems illuminated the night sky. And then, the most perilous element emerged, an absolute lack of confirmation. Was Israel's prime minister truly within the targeted compound? Were senior military commanders present? There was no verified statement, no public appearance, just an agonizing silence that stretched hour after hour. In the intricate dance of modern warfare, silence is not a sign of calm. It is the relentless accumulation of pressure. Iran proclaimed its use of K-bar Shannon ballistic missiles, a sophisticated system engineered for long-range, pinpoint precision strikes. These missiles traverse distances at astonishing velocities. Once launched, impact occurs within mere minutes. There is virtually no time for deliberation, only for immediate reaction. If this assertion holds true, this was far from symbolic. This was a strategic message, etched in the fiery language of conflict. Now, the profound significance of this juncture becomes clear. For numerous years, Iran and Israel have engaged in what experts term a shadow war, characterized by cyber operations, targeted assassinations, and proxy conflicts spanning Syria and Lebanon. Yet, both nations meticulously avoided directly targeting each other's public leadership. That unspoken boundary existed for a critical reason, because once leadership itself becomes a direct target, the fundamental rules of deterrence utterly collapse. If a sitting prime minister is genuinely believed to be under direct missile threat, the entire dynamic irrevocably shifts. It elevates conflict from a tactical engagement to an existential struggle. And existential conflicts, by their very nature, rarely remain confined for long. However, the narrative did not conclude there. Almost instantaneously, reports began to surface detailing drone activity across the vast expanse of the Gulf. Interceptions were reported in the skies, and missile alerts echoed near crucial energy facilities. Saudi Arabia's oil infrastructure, historically susceptible to attack, was rumored to be under renewed and imminent threat. Traders responded with lightning speed. Oil prices surged dramatically even before governments could convene press conferences. Energy markets do not await official confirmation. They meticulously price in fear, and fear, once unleashed, propagates with alarming rapidity. If major Gulf oil facilities face genuine risk, the ensuing shock will not be contained within the Middle East. It will directly impact gasoline prices in America. It will cripple manufacturing sectors in Europe. It will disrupt vital shipping lanes across Asia. Nearly 20% of the world's oil navigates through the Strait of Hormuz. That constricted waterway transforms into a global pressure point, quite literally, overnight. Now, consider the profound implications for the United States. American military installations are strategically positioned across the Gulf, in Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE. If missiles or drones traverse anywhere in proximity to these vital installations, Washington confronts a decision that could irrevocably define an entire presidency. To respond with overwhelming force risks igniting a full-scale regional war. To hold back risks a catastrophic loss of credibility. And credibility, in the intricate theater of global politics, is absolutely everything. Simultaneously, China observes with meticulous attention. China's economy is heavily reliant on Gulf oil. Stability is of paramount importance to Beijing, but so too is expanding its sphere of influence. If Gulf states begin to harbor doubts regarding U.S. security guarantees, China stands poised to step forward, offering lucrative economic partnerships and alternative defense arrangements. No missiles are required, merely the astute recognition of opportunity. Russia, too, stands to gain from escalating energy prices. Prolonged instability effectively stretches Western focus and diverts critical resources. In the grand chess game of geopolitics, distraction is a potent form of leverage. But let us return to the profound human dimension. Airlines immediately commenced rerouting flights. Insurance premiums experienced a dramatic spike. Corporate security teams activated comprehensive evacuation protocols. Billionaires discreetly secured charter jets. Multinational corporations meticulously reviewed their contingency plans. This is the insidious manner in which modern warfare proliferates without formal declarations. It propagates through financial markets, through international airports, through intricate global supply chains. And within Israel, the palpable pressure intensifies. Israel's defense doctrine is fundamentally predicated on deterrence and swift, decisive response. Sophisticated systems such as Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow exist precisely to thwart this exact type of penetration. If ballistic missiles manage to breach these defenses, even partially, confidence must be expeditiously restored, because deterrence is, at its core, psychological. If adversaries genuinely believe they can successfully strike senior leadership facilities, that belief alone fundamentally alters the balance of power. Now, introduce domestic politics into this volatile equation. Israeli citizens vociferously demand unwavering security. Iranian citizens clamor for decisive retaliation. Gulf citizens urgently seek protection. American voters demand stability, unequivocally rejecting another protracted, endless war. Every leader embroiled in this crisis is meticulously balancing military response with their own political survival. And here lies the unique and perilous nature of this moment: profound economic interdependence. This is not the geopolitical landscape of the 1970s. Global markets are now inextricably linked. A single refinery explosion in Saudi Arabia can trigger cascading ripples through global inflation rates within a matter of days. Stock markets frequently halt trading during periods of extreme volatility. Currency values swing wildly and unpredictably. Central banks prepare emergency fiscal measures. War today is not solely waged with missiles. It is fiercely contested through market reactions. If Israel swiftly confirms the survival of its leadership, that action alone stabilizes one critical layer of panic. If confirmation delays persist, rumor itself transforms into a potent weapon. Uncertainty dramatically amplifies the inherent risk of escalation. At this very moment, information is fragmented. Competing narratives vie for dominance. Financial markets are reacting with greater speed than seasoned diplomats. And the true question extends far beyond whether a leader merely survived. The real question is whether deterrence itself survived. Because once leadership targeting becomes an accepted norm, once energy infrastructure is declared open season, once global superpowers are compelled into reactive postures, containment becomes an almost insurmountable challenge. This may transcend a mere exchange of strikes. This may be the precise moment when the regional order begins its fundamental transformation. If you're inclined to dismiss this as just another Middle Eastern flare-up, I urge you to reconsider, because the events that unfold next possess the potential to reshape alliances, redefine oil markets, and fundamentally alter global power balances for years to come. Subscribe to Backdoor Economics for more in-depth analysis in 1 minute, and we will meticulously dissect what Israel, Iran, and the United States are currently calculating. Behind closed doors, concealed beneath every public pronouncement, a war room operates. Within Israel, military leadership would have immediately activated stringent continuity protocols. If top officials were indeed potentially targeted, backup chains of command would instantly become operational. Intelligence agencies would meticulously analyze launch trajectories. Air defense commanders would present precise interception percentages. Every single radar signature would be scrutinized, because the initial question is starkly simple: was this a calculated message, or the ominous beginning of something far greater? If Israel firmly believes Iran crossed the critical threshold of direct leadership targeting, retaliation cannot be merely symbolic. Israeli doctrine unequivocally emphasizes restoring deterrence with decisive force. A limited strike on proxy forces might prove utterly insufficient. However, striking Iranian territory directly, that action crosses an exceedingly dangerous threshold. Iran, conversely, does not necessitate total war to achieve a profound strategic impact. It requires a fundamental shift in perception. If Gulf states begin to doubt American protection, if Israel appears demonstrably vulnerable, if oil markets surge uncontrollably, Iran gains immense leverage without ever occupying a single inch of land. Iran's strategy is meticulously built upon layered escalation. It possesses the capability to strike directly. It can activate its extensive network of regional proxies. It can launch sophisticated cyber operations. It can threaten vital shipping lanes. This multi-front pressure is designed to create an overwhelming overload. Now, let us consider Saudi Arabia. For many decades, Gulf security has been profoundly dependent on robust American defense guarantees, advanced missile defense systems, critical intelligence cooperation, and rapid deployment forces. But if drones and missiles are successfully breaching that protective shield, even partially, an insidious doubt begins to creep in. And doubt, in this context, is profoundly strategic. Energy infrastructure is not merely an economic asset, it is a powerful geopolitical lever. Damage to major oil facilities sends immediate shockwaves through global markets. Insurance premiums for tankers skyrocket. Shipping costs escalate dramatically. Fuel prices climb relentlessly worldwide. Inflation, a force indifferent to politics, responds directly to disruption. Now, Washington confronts a critical decision cycle. Were U.S. assets directly imperiled? Are American personnel at imminent risk? Does restraint risk irrevocably damaging alliance credibility? The Pentagon must meticulously balance deterrence with the imperative of escalation control. American public opinion adds another layer of intense pressure. Voters are understandably wary of protracted Middle East wars. Yet, global credibility cannot be allowed to erode without severe consequences. Meanwhile, China meticulously calculates its long-term positioning. Beijing unequivocally prefers stability, but a stability achieved under reduced American dominance. If Gulf states reconsider their exclusive reliance on Washington, China can quietly expand its influence through strategic defense agreements and substantial infrastructure investment. Russia benefits economically from higher oil prices. Prolonged instability effectively stretches Western focus. Strategic distraction is a distinct advantage. Now, let us examine financial markets in even greater detail. Oil futures spike dramatically. Airline stocks plummet. Defense stocks, conversely, surge. Currencies of oil importing nations weaken considerably. Stock exchanges may temporarily halt trading if volatility surpasses critical thresholds. Wealth managers advise high net worth clients to significantly reduce their exposure. Corporate boards activate comprehensive crisis management teams. War today moves through complex algorithms long before it mobilizes infantry. Airspace closures trigger immediate and far-reaching ripple effects. Thousands of passengers are left stranded. Cargo is significantly delayed. Supply chains tighten precariously. In tourism-dependent economies like the UAE, even brief disruptions create profound revenue shock. And then there is the crucial psychological element. Gulf cities have meticulously cultivated global reputations for safety and stability. Missile alerts rapidly erode brand confidence. Investors keenly observe these patterns. Corporations reconsider ambitious expansion plans. Now, let us focus on the critical escalation tiers. Military planners conceptualize conflict in distinct levels. Level 1, limited strikes and aggressive rhetoric. Level 2, infrastructure targeting. Level 3, leadership targeting. Level 4, full-scale regional war. If leadership facilities were indeed targeted, the conflict already resides at level 3. Retreating backward becomes politically arduous. Inside Iran, leadership must meticulously balance external aggression with the imperative of internal stability. Sanctions already exert immense pressure on the economy. An extended war would strain currency reserves and erode public sentiment. Iran must project strength without inadvertently triggering an overwhelming coalition response. Inside Israel, appearing weak is not a politically viable option. Deterrence credibility is absolutely existential for Israeli security doctrine. This inherent asymmetry creates immense danger. Iran can claim a symbolic victory. Israel must visibly reestablish its dominance. And the Gulf states, they are precariously caught in the middle. If hosting foreign military bases paradoxically increases vulnerability instead of diminishing it, strategic alignment may shift significantly in the long term. Multipolar diplomacy becomes a far more attractive proposition. This is not merely about missiles. It is fundamentally about trust. If trust and security guarantees erodes, the entire regional architecture will inevitably adjust. The next 72 hours are critically important. If Israel launches a deep strike into Iran, escalation will accelerate dramatically. If Iran activates multiple proxy fronts, pressure will multiply exponentially. If the United States intervenes kinetically, a full-blown regional war becomes a terrifying possibility. But if discreet back-channel diplomacy commences quietly, escalation may be effectively frozen. The ultimate outcome hinges not solely on military capacity, but on political stamina, and the clock continues its relentless ticking. And we will meticulously dissect the possible endgames, who ultimately benefits in the long term, how oil markets will respond, and whether this event irrevocably reshapes Middle Eastern power dynamics permanently. Every conflict, without exception, eventually reaches a pivotal point where leaders are compelled to ask one fundamental question. What does victory genuinely entail? There are 4 pragmatic endgames. First, controlled de-escalation. Israel executes a measured strike designed to restore deterrence. Iran responds symbolically. Both sides subsequently claim domestic success. Oil prices gradually stabilize. Flights resume their normal schedules. Markets slowly recover. This represents the cleanest possible outcome, yet it is fraught with political difficulty. Second, prolonged shadow conflict. This involves relentless cyber attacks, persistent proxy rocket fire, covert targeted operations, and pervasive economic warfare. There is no official declaration of war, merely constant, debilitating pressure. This strategy slowly drains economies. It fosters chronic instability. It gradually shifts alliances. Third, regional escalation. If Israel targets major Iranian facilities and Iran retaliates against U.S. bases, resulting in casualties, Washington will enter a sustained conflict mode. Naval deployments will surge. Air superiority campaigns will expand dramatically. Shipping lanes will become militarized. Oil prices could experience an astronomical spike. The risk of a global recession increases exponentially. Energy importing nations will scramble desperately. Nobody emerges victorious in the short term, but global power dynamics will fundamentally shift. Content truncated due to size limit. Use line ranges to read remaining content.